In about 6 hours, Donald Trump will be sworn in as our nation's 45th president.
Yeah, but not everybody is happy about it. We're going to take a look at today's events and protests that are being planned all across the country. 6 o'clock, and thanks for joining us here at CBS 6. We are showing you some of those protests overnight and also a shot of the White House this morning.
Yeah, the future home of President Donald Trump. We've got a countdown clock down here for you as well. Kicking off our complete coverage of today's events is CNN correspondent Scott McLean, who's live from the Capitol's West Front. Scott?
Well, last night the sky lit up with fireworks, and today the city is still very much buzzing with energy as Washington gets set to swear in the 45th president of the United States. You can see here the stage is set. That is where Donald Trump will take the oath of office and then give his inaugural address. Now, the forecast actually calls for rain here, but that does not seem to be putting off the hundreds of thousands of people and protesters here to mark the occasion.
President-elect Donald Trump arrived in Washington in a U.S. military jet and went straight to his new property on Pennsylvania Avenue, the Trump Hotel.
We have such great support in this room.
Trump thanked his incoming cabinet in an off-the-cuff speech at a Republican luncheon. Ditching the typical political script helped get Trump elected, but for his inauguration, he's going mostly by the book. In the afternoon, Trump and Vice President-elect Mike Pence laid a wreath at the Arlington National Cemetery, then attended a concert on the National Mall.
There's never been a movement like this, and it's something very, very special.
Trump later dined with his Vice President-elect Mike Pence along with donors inside Washington's Union Station.
So I just want to thank everybody. We're going to have 4 incredible years.
Now, the number of Democratic Congress members boycotting today's inauguration is now well over 60. That is the second largest congressional boycott of an inauguration in U.S. history. Now, the president-elect, he'll wake up this morning at Blair House across the street from the White House. He will attend a prayer service nearby, and then he'll have coffee with the Obamas at the White House before heading down Pennsylvania Avenue here to the Capitol to be sworn in. Live in Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Scott, thanks. As the ceremony kicks off today, 30 organizations in D.C. have applied to get permits to protest the inauguration. So to put that in perspective, Capitol Police say usually there's only about 6. Out in Oregon, thousands of protesters are expected to gather in downtown Portland. The rally is being held by the same group that led many violent protests after the election. But organizers say today's event will be peaceful. Protests are also happening today here in the Capital Region. During the length of today's inauguration, there's going to be a silent protest out on the lawn of the state capitol. Organizers say this event is about equality and not sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
Donald Trump's social agenda already filling up. This morning, Japan's prime minister says he plans to visit the U.S. as soon as possible to meet with the president-elect. The prime minister says the U.S.-Japan alliance is an unchanging principle for his country's foreign and security policy. He met with Trump back in November in New York shortly after the election win. He was the first foreign leader to meet with Trump as president-elect. CBS 6 has you covered for inauguration all day long. Our live coverage starts with CBS This Morning in less than an hour. We'll also be live streaming all the day's events at CBS6Albany.com. Unfortunately, for about the 1 million people expected to be down in D.C. today, they could see some showers out there.
They could see some showers, but the temperatures are pretty mild for today, so at least it's not, freezing outside. I guess,
yeah, and those mild temperatures, certainly the case here as well, something that we're seeing across the Capital Region. We do want to give you a look at your forecast with meteorologist Alyssa Carroll-Priest. It just doesn't feel like inauguration day, always in January.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, good news is for everybody who's going to be down there for the actual ceremony, it's not a freezing cold rain. It'll be rainy and drizzly, but temperatures are going to be running mild and certainly a bit more mild than we will be up here. Forecasting highs in the upper 40s. We'll show you that forecast down near D.C. 49 will be the high this afternoon, and it's looking like a gray, cloudy kind of day. On and off rain or drizzle throughout the morning and the afternoon. We are dry here this morning. Temperatures starting off in the lower to middle 30s for most locations. There are a few spots in the upper 20s right now. Albany just dropping to 33. We'll be up into the lower 40s again this afternoon. It was 44 yesterday. I'm expecting highs in the 40s with some intervals of sun this morning and skies eventually turning overcast. Then we bring in that rain that D.C. is seeing today. We're going to bring that in for this evening. I'm tracking that in your full forecast. Let you know what time to expect it and when it wraps up, coming up in just a bit. Guys?
Okay, Melissa, thanks. We're bringing you out to exit 5 here, where you get off to go to Everett Road. This on I-90. Eastbound and westbound lanes of traffic are clear. We're not seeing too much at all out on the roads right now. Looking pretty good. That's your CBS 6 Eye on Traffic.
Breaking right now out of Syria at 6:05. We've just learned within the past couple hours ISIS has destroyed part of a historic amphitheater. Melissa Lee standing by in the breaking news center with the details on this. Melissa?
Jack, Syria's state-run news agency says ISIS has destroyed parts of the Roman amphitheater in Syria's historic town of Palmyra. Media reports there say the militants destroyed the facade of the 2nd century amphitheater along with an ancient Roman monument. ISIS recaptured the town in December from government troops 9 months after they were pushed out by a Russian-backed offensive.
Happening right now in Vermont. Take a look at this video. Bennington police trying to identify the 3 men you see here who attempted to break into a building at Lake Perrin. This happened earlier this month at about 9 o'clock at night. If you have any information, give Bennington police a call. Right now in Pittsfield, police are asking for your help finding a vehicle and the driver who was involved in a hit and run. This happened last night just before 7 at the intersection of Linden Street and Robbins Avenue. Investigators say they're looking for a brown or gold Toyota sedan with windshield and front end damage. We're told the person who was hit is seriously hurt. If you have any information, call Pittsfield Police.
6 minutes past the hour. Today, the man charged in the hit-and-run crash that killed a National Guardsman in Latham is going to face a judge. Heather Kovar is following this story, and she joins us now live. So, Heather, the driver, he claims that he didn't even know he hit anybody, right?
Yes, that is what his attorney is telling us. Brian Tromans turned himself into police Wednesday night, and he pleaded not guilty to leaving the scene of a fatal crash without reporting it. Now, today, the Albany County District Attorney's Office says Tromans will be in court for a bail application hearing. Police say Tromans hit and killed Master Sergeant Rudolph Sebron on Waterville Shaker Road January 8th and then kept driving. Police say another driver called them that morning saying he hit what he thought to be a person lying in the road under the I-87 under overpass. When police arrived, they found Sebron and determined he had been hit previously by Tromans and that he left the scene. Now, today, Tromans is expected back in court. He has been in Albany County Jail, and so when he's in court today, they're going to find out if they can possibly set bail. We'll be there and we'll let you know what happens. Reporting live in Albany, Heather Kovar, CBS 6 News.
Heather, thanks. 7 minutes after 6, and this morning a Schenectady man is facing up to 3 decades behind bars when he's sentenced next month after he tried to sell a business worth $1 million that wasn't his. Zachariah Latney was found guilty in Albany County Court on 15 charges, including grand larceny, burglary, and falsifying records. Prosecutors say he illegally entered a building on Central Avenue in Colony and tried to illegally sell it using fake documents. That property was valued at more than $1 million.
Take a look at this. A truck got stuck went right through the middle of a city bus in Syracuse. Look at that. Just the strangest thing. Police say they believe the 82-year-old driver of that pickup truck was getting off of I-81 when he swerved off the road to avoid traffic, hitting that bus going straight through the middle of it. No one was seriously injured, thankfully, but several of the passengers and the driver were taken to the hospital. Police are investigating. So far, no tickets or charges have been filed. I'm sure those will be coming soon. Las Vegas gets one step closer to having its own football team, but not everybody's on board with it. The person that's saying not so fast.
And its faulty phones cost the company billions. The major announcement Samsung plans to make today.
And temperatures continue to be mild throughout your Friday and even into the weekend. In fact, I bumped temperatures up this morning. We'll show you those numbers, plus a big batch of rain off to our south. This is moving in for us for tonight. I'm tracking the timing on that. All coming up in your full forecast.
And beautiful view of the White House this morning. This is live from D.C. and you see the Washington Monument in the background and also a lot of police lights because security is ramped up to the max because of Inauguration Day.
Tight not only around the White House, but around the nation's capital, the steps of the Capitol where the inauguration will happen, a parade to follow, and then Donald Trump moves into the White House for his 4-year stint as president. We'll have complete coverage of all the day's events and some protests planned both nationally and locally coming up.
CBS Traffic is brought to you by attorneys Martin, Harding, and Mazzotti. Injured? Helping you is what we do.
We are now just a couple of hours away, 5 hours and 46 minutes to be exact, away from President-elect Donald Trump becoming President.
Yeah,
Donald
we have
Trump.
a little countdown ticker there in the corner there, but looking live at the White House this morning, and Jack and I were commenting on just all the, the police lights that you could see off in the background there.
Yeah, just
protecting,
of the massive security measures that are going to be in place today.
Yeah, and here we go, the Capitol building all lit up, and you can see them, getting ready for today's events. That's where, of course, the swearing-in ceremony is going to be. Then they had the big parade that leads back to the White House.
A speech by Donald Trump as well that we will be carrying live here on CBS 6, so you'll be able to hear that. Live coverage throughout the day here on CBS 6, also streaming live at cbs6albany.com.
Breaking right now, North Korea may be getting ready to test launch some missiles in the very near future. According to a news agency, 2 missiles have been placed on mobile launchers. Melissa Lee is standing by in the Breaking News Center with the latest on this disturbing development. Melissa?
Julia, right now, South Korean military officials say the North may be preparing to test launch 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles. Officials say the North is attempting to send a message to incoming U.S. President Donald Trump ahead of today's inauguration. U.S. intelligence satellites have also seen some signs of activity at a North Korean missile factory. Officials in the U.S. believe the activity could indicate some kind of ballistic missile test in the first days or weeks of the Trump administration. However, the Pentagon spokesperson would not comment.
Taking a look at some of the other stories that are topping your headlines this Friday morning. In Libya, U.S. bombers have hit 2 Islamic State camps, killing more than 80 extremist fighters. The Pentagon says the mission was to be the last short-notice military operation ordered by President Obama. Sources say he approved that mission several days ago.
A new report says the NYPD has trained more than 5,000 officers on how to handle mental health crisis calls, but doesn't have a way to dispatch those officers when the calls come in. In 2015, the department developed a training program to help officers handle the calls. But now city leaders say it must do a better job implementing it. The NYPD is the nation's largest police department with 35,000 officers. On Monday, Samsung says it's going to announce the reason why its Galaxy Note 7 smartphones were overheating and catching on fire. The Note 7 was a big fiasco for the world's largest smartphone maker. Samsung recalled and eventually discontinued it after a lot of reports of this phone overheating and bursting into flames, which did injure some people. Initially, Samsung said some of the batteries in the phones was the reason why it was doing this. Eventually, they pulled those phones from the market. That move cost Samsung at least $5 billion. Not cheap.
Sin City could soon hit the jackpot. If league owners approve, the Oakland Raiders will move to Las Vegas. The team's already taken a critical step toward possibly moving the franchise, filing relocation paperwork yesterday. Owners could vote on the request as early as March. Owner Mark Davis has been pushing for the team to move to Las Vegas and has already made trademark filings for the phrase Las Vegas Raiders. But Oakland's mayor says the issue is far from over and that the city is ready to fight to keep the team.
In Pennsylvania, some inmates at a county prison are biding time by taking up a craft to aid others. The women are learning to crochet. Blankets woven by the inmates are then distributed to hospitals and nursing homes and the American Red Cross. The program, initiated by the county's Council of Republican Women, is about 6 years old. The court officials say that the program isn't only good for those who receive the blankets, but the inmates themselves.
Saved literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in healthcare costs by not having to run these folks to the hospital when they get into the scraps, and because they've all been eliminated for the most part.
The local county courthouse is now collecting yarn donations to keep the program going because apparently the women worked pretty quickly, so now they're running low on yarn.
Taking a look outside at traffic and weather together at 6:17 and the Northway passing exit 6, nice and clear. No accidents out there on 511. A nice Friday morning commute. That's your CBS 6 Eye on Traffic.
All right, Jack, thanks. And still tracking really mild temperatures heading through these next few days. It was 44 yesterday, and I'm still expecting highs to be in the 40s for your Friday and the upcoming weekend. Period of rain, though, developing into this evening. I do think that it looks wet with mainly just plain old rain, but for some of the higher locations, it could come down as a bit of freezing rain. That's out of here for the weekend, though, and I'm expecting dry weather Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures stay mild into the weekend with some unsettled weather then arriving by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Let's show you the temperatures we're forecasting. I bumped quite a bit of temperatures up this morning. 43 for the high this afternoon, 46 tomorrow, we're 44 Sunday, and then right around 40 by early next week, thanks to some unsettled weather building on in. Now, temperatures this morning trending just a few degrees behind yesterday morning this time. Most of us starting off in the lower or middle 30s, which you can see here. Albany at 33. No showers on the radar, instead just some areas of clouds. So going throughout your Friday morning, I think at times we'll have some sunny intervals. Then clouds building in this afternoon, skies turning overcast, and we'll bring in this batch of rain heading into this evening. Again, most of it falls as plain rain, but a few pockets could come down as freezing rain over the higher elevations. Look at the numbers for this afternoon. Across the board, we're going to see highs climbing into the lower 50s. 43 in Kingston, 41 today in Amsterdam, Bennington, Albany, and Cobleskill climbing to 43 this afternoon. Down near D.C., though, that rain arriving a bit earlier. It looks like a gray and kind of drizzly day with some steadier rain building in at times, especially towards lunchtime. The high is going to run pretty mild down there, too. Highs expected to be in the upper 40s. Switching gears back to our rain, which is likely going to move in for your Friday evening. If you have plans tonight, just maybe pack the umbrella just in case. 3 o'clock this afternoon, we're still dry. Showers start pushing in about 5, 6 o'clock tonight. And then I think the rain is overspreading the area as we work through the evening. Probably more than this is showing. This latest run just came in and it's backed off on the moisture a little bit. But I do think we'll have more rain around. Again, it's possible that it does come down as freezing rain over the higher elevations. And then towards midnight, the rain starts to pull away. We'll see some showers linger into early Saturday morning, maybe some drizzle to start the day. And then we're just looking cloudy heading through the weekend. Temperatures are going to be really mild tomorrow and Sunday, and then we get a little bit cooler Monday, Tuesday with some rain and at times a wintry mix.
Wow. All right. Seems still unseasonable throughout the next week.
Yeah, not seeing a huge shot of cold air coming anytime soon.
All right, Melissa. A reason to rethink texting your next emoji.
The certain characters of concern and what they can do to your phone.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Plus hiring for the big game.
How many new workers this popular pizza chain plans on hiring for Super Bowl Sunday.
CBS Traffic is brought to you by attorneys Martin, Harding, and Mazzotti. Injured, helping you is what we do.
Uber will soon pay $20 million to settle a lawsuit with the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC says Uber made false and misleading statements about how much drivers could actually make. According to the complaint, Uber claimed drivers could make more than $90,000 a year in New York and more than $74,000 in San Francisco. The FTC says less than 10% of drivers actually earn that much money. The $20 million will be used to pay back affected drivers across the country. Lyft's executives say they have a plan to make traffic disappear in just 5 years. How about that? Co-founders of the ride-sharing company want cities to install smart lanes that charge drivers during peak travel time. The money would be used to improve roads and bridges. The smart lanes would be free for any cars with 3 or more people. Heads up for iPhone users, an emoji text could freeze and crash your iPhone. The YouTube channel Everything Apple Pro says a white flag, a 0, and a rainbow can confuse your phone and freeze it. Apple hasn't commented on the issue yet, but if you have the latest version of Apple's operating software, you should be okay. Pizza Hut is hiring thousands of people as it gets ready for pizza's biggest day of the year. The pizza chain says it'll put 11,000 people to work just in time for Super Bowl Sunday. The company's looking to hire pizza makers, delivery drivers, managers, and servers, among other jobs. Yum Brands is the parent company for Pizza Hut and says the positions will be permanent. Super Bowl Sunday has always been a big year for takeout and delivery restaurants. Last year, Pizza Hut set a record for its Super Bowl sales, racking up nearly $12 million on digital platforms alone. 625, making a deal. The city that's now allowing Lyft drivers to pick up passengers at a busy airport. And taking you out live, this is our closest look so far of the steps of the Capitol building. And you can see right there, just above the banner at the bottom of the screen, the podium where Donald Trump will give his address and officially be sworn in as the nation's 45th president. We're breaking down all of today's events and telling you, wait till you hear how many protest permits have been issued for the D.C. area.
And there will be a silent protest held right here in Albany at the New York State Capitol during President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. Coming up, find out what the organizer of today's protest wants to get across.
And temperature 44 yesterday, and we're still looking at temperatures well above average for your Friday and the weekend. I bumped some of the highs up. Wait till you see the numbers. Also tracking this big batch of rain, which right now is off to our south and west. That wet weather expected to move in to start your weekend off into your Friday evening. We'll track that rain for you, let you know what time it'll wrap up. Coming up in the next half hour.